Oh, good morning. It's a lovely morning outside my house. That's where I live right there. So I've got a very good view. I can tell you that most of the money for building our house came from the profits I made from punting. And then I invested a little bit in a couple of units and so on. And that's where it is. Okay. So I suppose you too can live there if you want. Well, you'd have to buy me out. But anyway, what I thought I'd do today, I'm starting a series called How to Become a Successful Punter. And today we're going to have part A. So what you need to know is that more of our members, the ones that are making money actually, are using Power Play and Money Factory programs. I'm going to sort of read this out to you and point out some of the highlights. So most of our professional punters use those programs. Two good reasons why: they make you disciplined and more likely to be successful. Now, this is the link you need to go to right here, www.stakingkings.com. And you'll see videos of how these programs work and also of how you can get involved with them by taking a membership there and just paying a monthly fee. So it saves the original upfront cost of those programs was over $1,000. So naturally what you can do now is just pay a monthly fee and you'll be able to access them, and you can use them with any selection method you want. It's just a matter of the key, I suppose, is choosing the right one. So anyway, it's moving right along. Some time ago, Steve asked me to prepare him a professional staking plan, so I did that. And Steve is getting on towards retirement. He wants to make $1,000 a week tax-free. Okay, so that's the thing, $1,000 a week tax-free. He's read most of our books, and it's somewhat confusing at times, and so he's asked me what can I do with a plan that suits his needs without him having to experiment all over again. So I discovered a long time ago the secret of winning on the punt is to have a reliable set of selections you can rely on so you can concentrate on the investment side. So that's the investment side is the most important point of the angle, because everybody can pick winners, maybe not enough of them, but if you can get near to getting square, you can use this guide. So most important thing is to start by setting aside a bank. So if you think you're going to make money with a few dollars, say 500 or 1,000, turn it into a fortune in 1 year, you're deluding yourselves because, and I shouldn't be doing that, but a solid business apprentice will achieve success. So the formula I work on is this. I set up a betting bank and a wages account. So any money I take is going to be into this account, and it represents 40% of our capital. Then I make sure I've got a reserve account, which also has another 40%. Now, finally, I have another 20% for emergencies, and we know that in racing, these emergencies are always going to happen. So the main account is going to consist of funds that you can take advantage of the differences between the various corporates. So if the horse is your back, you might look at one of the corporates offering $2.50 on a horse and the other company's offering $2.70. Then that represents, if you're betting $100, that's an extra $20 you can make by betting with the best price. Now, it doesn't matter what our scenario is, what our selections are. This is repeated over and over again. So in other words, you've always got to try and get the very best option possible and make the most money. So people who just stick with betting on one account, they don't make money because you've got a whole lot of things to account for. For example, you'd have to have, you've got the cost of running the internet, you've got subscription fees, you've got Foxtel, you've also got to place all your investments. Any profits can be returned to the reserve and surplus account, and it may be the corporate A owes you $1,500, maybe Ladbrokes, that'd be nice, but you're $900 behind with, say, Bet365 or whatever. Okay, withdraw your money from A and pay into C to make all of your accounts remain funded. Any excess goes to your surplus account unless you need to draw it down for yourself. If you're in a loss, you can transfer the money from your working reserve account. That'll be in cash somewhere, and you can push that. Yeah, of course, in the old days, we used to put it in a fixed account or in a cash investment account, which gave you an interest rate. That doesn't happen anymore. So anyway, what I've suggested to Steve is that if he wants to make $1,000 a week, a bank of $50,000 would be appropriate, even though it's unlikely that any more of $10,000 will ever be needed. But you have to have that backup scenario. Now, if you want to make $100 a week, than maybe if you have a bank of $5,000. You might never be more than $1,000 behind, but it's important to have all that stuff handy. So as I said, you've got 40% in your ready account, working reserve, which is just money in cash but in the bank, another 40%, and another account there with 20% just for urgent things. You never know, your computer might break down. Our investment scenarios, the one I discussed with Steve and one is familiar with was the C plan using Winform ratings. But those of you who have got the books, for example, my race winning strategy book, it's not very expensive. You can get it at our online store. That plan averages a strike rate around 50% wins, dividends averaging around $2.10 to $2.20. Now, your other scenario possibility using free ratings, it also gets you about 50% winners, but the average dividend you can return is probably closer to $1.90. Look, the average punter doesn't get all excited over the massive profits that you're going to make over a year, because to operate the plan, you need to monitor the activity up to at least 5 minutes before the event, and roughly 1 in 6 races are going to qualify. Now, you can have a look at these at the beginning of the day and work out which races they're likely to be. So therefore, you might set your phone up. Most of them have an alarm system these days. So that can maybe alert you, say, 10 minutes before a race is to take place, so you can get look up what the prices are and then take action as to which horse or horses you're going to back in that. So I use the plan personally, and my outlay is $500 a bet on those, and I hope to collect on the first investment of the day. And if I do, I probably don't have another bet for the day. So otherwise I might carry on because I know I'm going to win every second race. So I'm probably going to make my money back in the next 3 or 4 races at the most, or come out with a profit. If I don't, and I've had those 3 or 4 bets and there are only 1 or 2 races coming up later in the day, I thought, no, I'll leave it. I'll come on and do it another day. So anyway, point is, you're gonna make money that way, but having money available, that's the main thing, and how you assess it. Now, the key to all this is the turnover. Now, to understand what I'm talking about, a lot of people just simply don't understand. So I was talking to one of the regular punters, but he was a weekend punter, and I pointed out to him his style was all wrong, because what he was doing, he was actually saying he didn't worry about getting the best price because he only has a few $20 bets on the weekend. So I said to him, would it be fair to say you have around 10 selections a weekend? And he agreed that would be about right. I told him he was actually spending or turning over $10,000 a year, and of course he said that couldn't be right. Took me a while to convince him, but eventually he understood. So that when I explained that if you got an extra 10% on his winners, that's just an extra 10%, that's by getting the best price, he'd get back an extra $1,000 or more in a pocket. Now, if he's investing more than that, $200 a bet, you can just imagine how much it is. So, for example, if you make 5% profit on turnover, you'll net $50,000 on 1 million turnover, right? That's $20,000 a week. But many of our subscribers are doing this easily, yet the only thing they're working with is a $10,000 money factory bank. So in other words, they don't have a massive amount of money, but they're turning it over and over and over. So in other words, they might be there sitting for 3 or 4 hours a day and just having their bets, placing the next one, then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, working through to the day until they've made whatever profit is they want to make. So my recommendation to everyone, every single punter, right? Start small, use a 5,000 bank overall, build it up as you pull in the profits.